Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're diving into machine learning and especially with TensorFlow, you have probably heard of TensorBoard, one of the most powerful tools for visualizing and debugging your models. But do you know how to unlock its potential? Well, in today's video, we are going to master TensorFlow step by step with few examples. By the end of this video, you will be able to track, visualize, and analyze your machine learning experiments like a pro. So let's get started. So before we dive into the hands-on part, let's quickly refresh on what TensorBoard is. So TensorBoard is a powerful visualization tool for TensorFlow that allow you to track matrices, the visual model graph, and even debug your training processes in real time. So whether you are working in a simple model or complex neural networks, TensorFlow can be a game changer when it's come to understanding your model behavior. So graph of the model training with accuracy and loss curves. Next is setting up the TensorBoard. To use TensorBoard, first we need to set up. It's super easy. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to first install the. Make sure you have the TensorFlow installed and import TensorFlow in your code. You can quickly integrate TensorBoard into your training workflow by importing the TensorBoard callback. So let's first import the TensorFlow, and to import the TensorBoard, you have to use the keras dot callback. Now let's first train our model. This is the MNST dataset, and we'll compile the model. Let's train the model, and then we'll launch the TensorBoard. So once the training is completed. So the TensorBoard can also open in the browser. You have to use http://localhost, and the port is 6006, and you will see all your training matrices in the real time. So our training is almost done, and you can also run the TensorBoard directly into the Google Colabs using the load extension TensorBoards, and use these two lines of a code, and you will be able to run your TensorBoard here. So if I just quickly run this, and this will launch the TensorBoard. All right, let's start with the basics. So visualizing the training loss and accuracy curve, right? If I go here, we'll see the accuracy curve. These are probably the most important metrics you will track during training. Now let's quickly go one by one about and let's explain what this is type of. So the first one is the scalar tab. So scalar type is primarily used for tracking and visualizing scalar values such as loss, accuracy, or any custom metrics you log during training. Right? There are multiple matrices here. Graph of a scalar values like example training and validation loss accuracy plotted over time or during training step. You can compare multiple scalar across different runs, help you to analyze how different models or configuration performed over time. Next one is the graph tab. So this tab provides a visual representation of competition graph of your model, like allowing you to inspect how tensor flows through the operation during training and inference. Right, as you can see, you can scroll down. A detailed graph of model architectures showing the layers operation like add or connection between them, right? Node level inspection to see input, output answers, and operation details. So this is what all the details are available in the graphs. Next, we have the distribution tab. So it shows the distribution of your sensors. Example, weight activation over time help you to track how they evolve during trainings. So here histogram distribution. So you can see the bias kernel, right? Histogram It helps you to detect issues like vanishing gradients or exploding gradients by visualizing how your weights or activation behave across training steps. So, for example, would be like if you notice that your model is training poorly, you might see that the weights are either too large or too small, and this can be identified through distribution charts. Next is the histogram tab. So it's provided a detailed histogram of tensors such as model weights, bias, and activation at each training step or epoch. Next, the example use case for this, if you're worried about model overfitting, you might check the activation in your network. A well-behaved activation histogram should be neither too uniform, which uh, could suggest that the model is not learning, or not too sparse, which indicates that model is overfitting, or that you have activation are dead. So these are the main tabs in the histogram. You can also define your custom matrices, and those you can also track those here. Yep. All right. That's a small wrap up, small video, and then that's a wrap up for today's dive into the TensorBoard. This is how you can open the TensorFlow, track your different matrices here.